Hey everyone, it's Julie from Sprouts and Stems. Today I'm going to show you how to grow moss for your terrarium. Growing your own moss is a really easy way to add little spots of greenery all around your home. It looks great as accent pieces in an existing terrarium, and it also looks beautiful in a terrarium all on its own. You'll need just a few things to get started growing your own moss. First, you'll need moss. I know, I'm telling you you need moss to grow moss, but the cool thing is you can actually just get this moss from outside. Just one thing I'll add to that is if you want to use this moss in a tank with animals, you'll need to make sure it's really clean if you take it from outside, so just make sure you research that if you plan to use this with animals. The other things you'll need are a drainage element, so that could be pebbles or perlite, a purifying element like charcoal, some potting mix, which can just be a regular houseplant potting mix. It doesn't have to be anything special. A clear airtight container. I decided to use a leftover takeout container as well as this old plant mister that I actually just found out was no longer working. Last, you'll need some water. Preferably that would be either rainwater, filtered water, or distilled water. And as you can see, I'm just using filtered water from a Brita pitcher that I have in my fridge. Start by putting down a layer of your drainage element, then put down a layer of your purifying element. You don't need too much of either. The drainage element at the bottom is just to prevent your moss from sitting in any water that has accumulated at the bottom of the container. The purifying element is really important because it keeps everything fresh, and this is going to be an airtight, wet container, which is usually a recipe for things not being so fresh. The next step is to lay down your potting mix. You don't need too thick of a layer since the moss is just going to lay on top of it. The potting mix should be slightly moist, so you can either do this beforehand or do it after you put it in your container by misting it. Finally, lay your moss down on top of the potting mix layer. You don't need to plant anything, you're just simply laying the moss on top and kind of nestling it in. You can do this in small chunks or larger sheets and just design your container however you'd like it to look. Once your terrarium or container is all put together, you want to mist the entire thing to keep it nice and moist. This should be lightly moist and not sopping wet. That's a very important distinction. You definitely don't want any water pooling at the bottom of the container. After that, just make sure to firmly close your container or terrarium. This will make sure the humidity stays locked inside. Caring for the moss going forward is actually very simple. You'll just want to mist the entire container as needed in order to make sure it doesn't completely dry out. Different species of moss do have different light requirements, but you can place your terrarium wherever you want in your home. If you put your terrarium in a low light location, you'll just have to make sure that your moss does get some light. You can do this by putting it near a light source once a day for a few hours, or every couple of days, just put it by the light source for the full day. And that's it. You should start to see your moss growing in the next few weeks. I hope you enjoyed this easy tutorial on how to grow moss. If you did, please like and subscribe. My channel is really new, so it would definitely help me out. I've also included a link in the description to one of my most popular blog posts. That post has more details on closed terrariums and other terrarium plants, so be sure to check that out as well. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and have a great day.